Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well. You all know what I'm here for, and it's to talk about that NBA trade deadline yesterday, February 8th, where Woj was dropping bomb after bombs. Okay, so here we go. First trade that really set it all off, the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. Okay, one team's rebuilding and one is looking like they're on their way to the NBA Finals. And you can go check my X page. Nobody was first before me talking about them possibly being a NBA Finals appearance ball club. Well, Bojan Bogdanovic, who right now is averaging 20 and shooting over 41% from the three, and Alex Burke, who was a one-time Knick. His tenure kind of ended a little funny playing point guard for them. Was swapped out for Quentin Grimes, Malachi Flynn, and finally Evan Fournier, who's been released from the purgatory, 2-year purgatory. As you all know, he was there. He joined the Knicks during the Scott Perry administration when they were going through that rebuild. He was at the top of his game, playing for France in the Olympics and looking like Michael Jordan and every other star that there was the running joke on Twitter. The Knicks also sent 2 second-round picks, which, as you know, this is probably the biggest deadline we've ever seen for second-round picks being transferred. It's going to start holding a lot more value due to the new CBA bargaining agreement. The Knicks, I would have liked to seen them stockpile on another two-way player, but obviously, in a perfect world, they couldn't do that. What I will say is the Precious Anunoby trade, along with OG Anunoby, really solidified their need for two-way defenders, at least lockdown defenders. They're still waiting on Randall to return, Mitchell Robinson, but they've been holding it down. DiVincenzo's averaging 28 a game. Detroit got themselves a great prospect. A lot of people don't know, but he's got one of the greatest shooting mechanics we've ever witnessed in the game, and it's ironic because it draws parallel to a former Knick who signed as a free agent years ago, $100 million in the 90s. Okay, it was considered crazy. That's like a guy getting a Supermax, a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum deal in the era when Anthony Houston signed it. The Knicks outbidded themselves. He came from the Detroit Pistons. This is their new Detroit Piston. So the day before, the Pistons made a deal with the Grizzlies for Simon Finicho. He plays exact carbon kind of game as Bogdanovic, making him expendable. So that was very interesting. Malachi Flynn will replace the god-awful Killian Hayes finally. So glad he's up out of there. He had the unmitigated gall to complain about minutes or wanting a change of scenery when he should have never been given priority over Jaden Ivey, who had just scored 37 the night before the trade deadline, February 7th. Fast tracking onto the next major trade that I thought was interesting. The Washington Wizards made a deal with the Dallas Mavericks. They acquired Marvin Bagley a couple weeks ago, making Daniel Gafford expendable. He's an athletic, rim-protecting big man who does finish under the rim, athletic finisher. They haven't had this kind of quality depth at the center position since their 2009 championship run with Brandon Haywood and Tyson Chandler. Definitely the Mavericks have the arsenal of weapons to go make a push in the playoff as a wild card now, especially if they just say, hey, we're gonna brandish our 2 7-footers, Derek Lively and Gafford, and we're just gonna go ahead and outscore you, play the possessions game. They're as dangerous as anybody. I like the move for Washington from the perspective that it was just time to loosen up their front court. I'm disappointed we never got to see a Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford, and Marvin Bagley frontline, Bagley at the 4. I thought that could have did wonders. I don't know what the hell's going on with Washington. Wizards, Bullets, it doesn't matter. They're always going to do the same old. A very head-scratching but very interesting move. As you all know, moving forward, Philadelphia 76ers lost a key cog in their team, 75% damn near of their offense. Don't hold me to the analytics numbers. Joel Embiid, reigning MVP, has an issue with his knee. They said he'll be returning. The deal indicates that it more likely will. The Sixers have cap space, though they are known for being toxic, so they're not going to be able to just land anybody for that matter. Being able to get Buddy Hield before free agency and give him an audition, they can recreate their version of the Splash Bros. I'm kind of shocked knowing that they're both in the same conference, and I believe the Pacers and the Sixers are in the same division. I could be wrong. they're going to meet in the playoffs as it's currently constructed. For them to send Buddy Hield to the Sixers, immobilize them, and make them a threat, when I already feel as though the Pacers are on standing ground. They did replace Buddy with another certified three-point shooter, moving Marcus Morris, who they just handed the keys to the city to a month ago, for Doug McDermott. He's a 6'8" spot-up shooter, certified veteran. He's been in the league longer than you can even imagine. And so this is a great addition by subtraction for them. Either way, they knew they weren't going to be able to give Buddy what he is and is determined to give, which is something close to the max. No one feels he deserves that, but Philly is in a dire need position where they might actually be budge. After all, they did pay Tobias Harris north of $100 million. With that being said, we can fast forward the narrative. A very sneaky good trade, reunited, and it feels so good. Patrick Beverley, as you all know, the Milwaukee Bucks, and this was another awkward deal, but you get what you put out in life. You put out good, you get good. The Philadelphia Sixers got a blessing with Buddy Hield, so they felt the need to forward it. They shared Patrick Beverley, even though the Sixers and the Bucks are in the same conference. They sent Buddy Hield. They sent Patrick Beverley to the Bucks. They were in dire need of a ball stopper. Malik Beasley's their only real perimeter defender. He can hit threes, but more importantly, you need a player who can enforce things, have those awkward conversations, and that's exactly what Patrick Beverley is going to provide in that Bucks locker room. It is the quickest stopgap option that they could afford, knowing that they had limited resources. I mean, there is no front office more keen and more sharp than this Milwaukee Bucks brain trust. They're phenomenal at what they do. Good for them. It was a fantastic signing from a locker room culture standpoint, from a necessary need. Veteran, checks all the boxes. Well done. He will be wearing, funny note, Drew Holiday's jersey number. Then here's one trade that a lot of people fell under the radar. I this year have been watching the Utah Jazz. I really enjoy them. Hashtag take note. That's their hashtag on the X Twitter. And let me tell you something, they have been nothing short of the most entertaining team in the league for me. They brandished 3 skilled 7-footers, still got John Collins over there. I'm so sad to see Kelly Olynyk leaving. He was one of the rare stretch bigs who can actually play a physical brand of basketball, and an extremely underrated playmaker. If you've ever seen Kelly get the ball off the glass and get in transition, he's second to no big man in this league. I'm not gonna try to rank him with Jokic and Plumlee, Mason Plumlee with the Clippers, but he is a gifted vision playmaker type floor general kind of guy. Can shoot the three. Like I said, he's not afraid of contact. And most importantly, now that the Toronto Raptors have doubled down on their all-star investment in Scotty Barnes, this will create obviously the floor spacing you need, not just for Barnes, but for their other trade acquisition on New Year's in the OG trade, RJ Barrett, who's by nature is a natural slasher. This is going to really open up some opportunities. I'm excited. This was definitely not a trade that a lot of people are going to understand or appreciate. And then a quick little side note, Sam Presti finally getting a little judicious. Finally lessening up his vice grip on the draft pick. Had 35 total when you count first and second combined collectively. He got Gordon Hayward, got a veteran in that locker room that he could trust. He had Oladipo in the beginning of the year, moved off him. Oladipo was moved again. Now he's just been put on waivers. So I'm very pleased with that move. He's a healthy locker room veteran guy. I also want to point the attention to the Charlotte Hornets, who went out and acquired Seth Curry along with Williams, the defender. They needed to switch up the culture, get some mature guys in there who are not afraid of scrapping. I really like what the Charlotte Hornets are slowly building towards. Brandon Miller, he went viral for complaining about players not getting back. They went and got Williams. They got Curry, who's a local hometown hero. And as Curry is moving away from the limelight, which don't hold me to it because the Warriors are on a little bit of a run, 2-game win streak. Don't tell me who they played, because at the end of the day, you still got to play the games. Kudos to them. but Curry might be able to carve out a career for himself. This guy has more to offer than just being the little brother or a footnote. He can actually make an impact, and I really like him and LaMelo sharing a backcourt. Whenever LaMelo gets healthy, man, the Ball family has had a bad stroke of luck. Little disappointed DeMar DeRozan didn't get moved. The Bulls are in the 9th place. Like I reported on X, per Woj, per Sham, and Brian Windhorst, they're going to try to get in the playoffs. On paper, they're as dangerous as anyone, but they're not really piecing it together the way they should. I don't know. Maybe it's time for a head coaching change. That's not my business at the moment. Hey, I hope y'all enjoyed this breakdown. I'm going to try to do better next time. Like I said, I'm coming off that water fast. Pray for me, y'all. Cheers. Global. Out. Kobe's statue is up now, too.